Hey, it's Liberty, and today I am going to be letting BuzzFeed pick the next couple of books that I read and see if these quizzes actually do a good job or not. I used to be on BuzzFeed a lot, their book section. I used to get a lot of ideas from there, so I want to see if it is still as good. Picked a couple of quizzes. Build your dream library and will recommend you a book to read. And this cozy quiz will reveal which book you should read next. I just want to quickly pop in and say I got this idea from Carrie Can Read, which is a YouTube channel I recently discovered, and she's great. I really enjoy her videos. You should check them out if you get the chance. Pick a fireplace to relax in front of. Ooh. Well, I like the one with stones. It's kind of like something from Lord of the Rings. Pick a blanket to cozy up in. Ooh, tartan or furry. You know what? This looks the most comfy, so I'm gonna go for that one. Pick a hot meal. Tomato soup, ramen, spaghetti and meatballs, Thai red curry, Spanish chicken casserole, shepherd's pie. Okay, this is supposed to be a cozy evening at home that I'm planning. So, shepherd's pie? Pick a relaxing evening activity. Bubble bath, watching TV show or movie, knitting, baking, yoga, journaling. TV show or movie. It's gotta be cozy. Pick something to make things a little cozier. Hot water bottle, microwavable plush, fairy lights, fluffy socks, body pillow, cute lamp. Ooh, fairy lights, because I always put the heating on, which is not good. So it's hot enough. Pick a hot drink, tea, coffee, hot chocolate, mulled wine, lemon and honey, apple cider. I don't actually drink that much anymore. I kind of have one glass of wine on my birthday, like the last couple of years, and that's been it. So probably hot lemon and honey. Pick something to snack on. Popcorn, cheese and crackers, brownies, cookies, chocolate, mini pizzas. I mean chocolate. Straight to the source. Pick a candle scent to fill your home with. Cinnamon, apple pie, fresh linen, vanilla, lavender, lemons. Cinnamon, it's got to be cinnamon. Especially like it's coming up to Christmas. You need it. Ooh, All Grown Up by Jami Attenberg. A book about Andrea, a single woman in her late 30s with a well-paid job living in the city. However, Andrea's life isn't as glamorous as the premise seems, as she's had to navigate growing up and letting go of her desire to be selfish after she finds out her niece is dying. Rather than being an upsetting read, it's a darkly comic look into a side of single life that is rarely shown. Okay, it doesn't sound like something I would normally read, so I mean, I guess that's the point of stuff like this. Get out of your comfort zone. For the second quiz, build your dream library and we'll recommend you a book to read. Oh, I mean, I wish. Choose a style of bookshelf. The one that looks like a tree, I'm not enamoured with that because I quite like the brown one. But then also just standard black is good too. Standard white, probably standard black. It looks taller than the white one. Choose a wall design. Oh God. For inside, not brick. Probably red. That deep red is good for libraries. Choose a chair. I don't really like any of these chairs, if I'm going to be completely honest. For reading though, probably either the brown one or the blue one. But it doesn't really go with my colour scheme that I've established with the walls. I think I'm going to go blue. I mean, it looks the comfiest. Choose a way to arrange your books by genre, by colour, alphabetically by author name, randomly by release date, alphabetically by book title. I'm not an alphabetical person or a colour person or a release date person. I guess by genre, but also I have like my favourites on a separate shelf. I think genre. Choose a reading lamp. I like this one, looks pretty. And it would go with the chair that I picked. Well, that, you know, you can't go wrong with a standard lamp though. No, I'm going blue. Choose the flooring. Oh, it's got to, actually, I was going to say it's got to be wood panelled flooring, but actually a nice carpet, but not a white carpet, that would get dirty so quickly. But also, if you have wood panelled, you can put a rug on top and you can change the rug. Wood panel flooring, wood panel flooring. Choose an extra feature: fireplace, book ladder, writing desk, antique clock, self-portrait, or giant globe. It has to be a fireplace. I love fireplaces. I wish I could have one. So I have got Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. Please forgive me, I cannot pronounce things. This is the place to start if you've never read a graphic novel before. Originally published in 2 separate volumes, the book follows Marjane Satrapi's upbringing in pre- and post-revolutionary Iran. I have actually heard of this. I've heard it's really good. I have read a couple of graphic novels before. I'm excited for this. Do give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And I make all sorts of videos about books, history, personality, music, movies, all sorts. So do subscribe and check those out if you want to. I have an update. They have arrived and I already started reading Persepolis, and this book is incredible. It's so moving, and there are some, you know, really, really horrible things that are sort of being discussed in here, but it's just, oh my god, it's a revelation. It is really a revelation. There's two, this is a compilation of the story of a childhood and the story of a return. It's 2 in 1. I started reading it yesterday. I'm already over halfway through. It's just so addictive. Just to see the conflict in Iran through the eyes of a child is just, it's emotionally very heavy, but it's also, it's told with some humour so that you're not, you know, sort of overwhelmed. It's just incredible. I think BuzzFeed got this one really right. I'm not finished yet, but this is my little update halfway through. So I have finished both of the books now. One took me a lot longer than the other. So to wrap up Persepolis, which is what I was reading the last time I checked in, finished it, loved it. It's one of my favourite books of the year. It's one of the best books I think I've ever read. 5 stars, just gotta say that. This book starts in 1980 when our main character Marjane is 10 years old. She is very authentic and she speaks her mind, she speaks out. And it's so interesting to see how her as a young person sort of rebels against the different regimes that she lives under. Obviously, she was part of a generation who knew life before everything changed. And to see that experience, how she went through school and what they were trying to teach to children in school, was just completely eye-opening. And a lot of this comes from the fact that she is the great-granddaughter of the last emperor of Iran. So obviously she has a lot of privilege and she would have grown up, you know, being able to speak her mind and being told that she can speak her mind. And because of that, she is from the sphere where a lot of the political prisoners came from. So we get to see her interacting with some of them. It's really depressing to think about that it was in the best interests of many countries around the world, including my own, for Iran and Iraq to be in a conflict because of the immense power of, you know, Iran's military and all of that stuff. And to see it be decimated was sort of something that countries and regimes around the world were actively celebrating. Anyway, so we follow our main character as she sort of is in Iran. She has her young life there, but then she also goes to Austria when she's a teenager to be educated there. And she lives in Vienna and she spends, you know, her late teenage years there, and we get to see her experience of the world, how she's treated, the different countries she gets to see. And then she comes back to Iran and we sort of see her young adulthood back in Iran. To see how she got used to the restrictions and got used to everything once she came back was heartbreaking, but you could still see, you know, the little girl who talked back to her teachers in her as a young adult. This really proves that education and books is just so important for children, you know, experiencing different cultures, different worlds, different ways of thinking. They need to form opinions that aren't dictated to them by, you know, parents, siblings, friends, governments, schools. And this goes for everyone, no matter what historical time period we're talking about, what place in the world we're talking about. The second book that I read as a result of this was All Grown Up by Jami Attenberg. It's been compared a lot to Fleabag, like a New York Fleabag, and I definitely see that comparison. The main character in this book is Andrea, and this book is actually, it's told in a really nice way in the form of vignettes, so we're skipping through time a lot, but it's very well written, it's well told. You get the seeds of, you know, characters that will become important in later vignettes to really make the story flow, which I appreciated. Andrea is an ex-artist. She's living in New York. She has an office job because she gave up art. We don't really know why at the start. You do find out through as sort of you go through. She's single, she's childless, but she's not upset about that, really. You know, other people treat her like she should be upset about that. It's very honest and raw, but I have to say, I didn't enjoy it that much. I think I've just come to realise that unless it's YA, I just don't really get on with contemporary novels that much. I'm not someone who kind of looks for contemporary fiction because I want to see sort of my own life reflected. I don't really want an insight into my life in that kind of way. So this was definitely the wrong kind of book for me. I want to be taken far away from my life. It's why I really enjoy fantasy, historical fiction. This book was a chore for me. It took me ages to read it. And I almost DNF'd it at one point. I am glad I stuck it out though. I think it's definitely, I appreciated it a lot more when I had finished it than when I was in the middle struggling. It kind of just depressed the hell out of me. It makes more sense once I say that I tried reading Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, but I had to stop because I found it way too depressing and I couldn't handle it, and I DNF'd that. So I think it's a similar issue that I had with this. I definitely understand why people like it, for sure. It's just not for me. It's one of those things. So to conclude, out of the two books that BuzzFeed quizzes recommended me, I really loved one and struggled through the other. It's weird, I never thought to actually read the books that occasionally you see these quizzes recommending you a book that you've already read and you're like, well, yes, of course it works because I love this book. So I am happy that I did it. It shows that these things do work sometimes, and I would recommend you try it. But take a bunch of quizzes and definitely pick a couple that you feel are in the sphere of what you like to read. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will read Persepolis. That is an amazing book. Again, massive credits go to Carrie Can Read because she did this. I don't know if she was the first to do it, but that's where I got the idea from. I hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year. Happy reading.